My friend and I knew he was going to die weeks before his death. Many years ago I had a friend named Brian. This was before the internet and cell phones. I have known him for about a year. I didn't know him well, but I was good friends with his sister. He was a great guy. We hung out occasionally with mutual friends. At one point I kept getting this feeling that Brian was going to die in a car accident. I couldn't shake it and I kept dismissing it. A couple of weeks later Brian asked me for a ride across town. On the way, he asked me if I ever had the feeling that I was going to die. Of course, I said no and I didn't tell him about what I had been thinking. He said he had that feeling. I told him that was ridiculous and asked him how he thought it was going to happen. He said a car accident. I was shocked. I went on to say that it's just in his head. No one can predict these things. He's going to be fine. He didn't seem too confident that I was right. As far as I know, he never talked to anyone else about this. He told me that he left a note in his sock drawer for his father. They had a bit of a strained relationship like a lot of teenagers and parents do. They weren't talking at the time. He wanted his father to know that he loved him in case something happened. He wanted his father to know that, even though they didn't get along at the time, he knew his father loved him and was proud of him. The following Saturday the feeling I had about Brian grew much stronger. I became anxious and couldn't sit still. I was pacing around my apartment. I couldn't think about anything else. That evening I decided I needed to find him. I called several mutual friends, landline, to see if they knew where he was. Eventually, someone told me he was at a party. I drove there but missed him by about 30 minutes. They said he went to a different party. I tried the other party but he wasn't there. I went home and barely slept. The next morning I got a call from his sister. The driver of a truck was drunk when it crashed. Brian was ejected and the truck crushed him. He was on life support at the hospital. I went to see him but he was gone. Still alive on life support. There was no brain activity. His parents took him off life support the next day. Months later his parents found the note he wrote. His parents cried all day and his father, who was devastated because of their strained relationship, found some closure and relief. A couple of months after that they found a message from Brian on their answering machine telling them that he loves them. They said it wasn't there before. I heard from his sister the message was at least a few minutes long and he had a lot to say. I have never experienced anything like this before or again. I still think about it occasionally. Sometimes it makes me cry. Sometimes it makes me happy to remember him. Has anyone heard about people experiencing this before?